What if I told you there is a stretch of ocean in the North Atlantic that doesn't appear on any map? Its boundaries are invisible, its size debated, and yet, despite no official recognition, it may be the deadliest place on Earth. A place whispered about for centuries, where ships vanish without a trace, where planes take off and never reach their destination, and where thousands have disappeared. They call it the Bermuda Triangle. Some say it's bounded by Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. Others argue the lines are constantly shifting, fluid, like the sea itself. And within this space, whether it's 500,000 square miles or 1 million, lies a catalog of inexplicable disappearances, eerie encounters, and a minefield of shipwrecks on the seafloor. So what's really going on here? In a world where so much has been mapped, measured, and understood, there remains one place where reason disappears and legend takes hold. Could it be what the folklore suggests? Could it just be explained by science? Or is there something mysterious beneath the ocean's depths behind these disappearances? This is the Bermuda Triangle. Of all the tales told about ghost ships and vanishing crews, none has captured the imagination quite like the story of the Mary Celeste. On November 7th, 1872, the Mary Celeste set out from New York Harbor, bound for Genoa, Italy. For 2 weeks, the Mary Celeste fought through rough Atlantic weather. Then, as the stormy skies began to clear, the vessel reached the Azores. At 5 a.m. on November 25th, the ship's final log entry was recorded. After that, silence. 10 days later, on December 5th, another ship, the Dei Gratia, sailing from London, spotted a vessel drifting aimlessly about 600 miles west of Portugal. It was the Mary Celeste. There was no one at the helm. No voices, no signals, no signs of life. Captain David Morehouse of the Dei Gratia knew that ship. He had dined with Captain Briggs just days earlier. Alarmed, he sent his first mate, Oliver DeVoe, and a small party to board the drifting vessel. As they approached, they called out. No response. When they finally climbed aboard, what they found chilled them to the bone. The Mary Celeste was completely abandoned. There was no blood, no bodies, no lifeboat. The Dei Gratia took the ghostly ship in tow and sailed nearly 800 miles to Gibraltar. There, suspicions swirled like the mists on the open sea. Was the crew of the Dei Gratia involved somehow? Had they attacked the Mary Celeste? Or had something else happened out there? Captain Morehouse, being a close friend of Briggs, was heartbroken. He had no reason to wish harm on anyone aboard. Yet no explanation could account for what they had found. One of the most debated explanations? Methane gas eruptions bubbling from the sea floor. When released, this gas can reduce water's density so drastically that ships could, in theory, just drop like stones. But here's where it gets stranger. Science starts to disagree. The largest methane reserves? They're nowhere near where most of these vanishings occur. And even if an eruption happened, the methane would have to burst through layers of rock and sediment, then rise thousands of feet through the ocean to even affect a ship. And even more implausibly, a plane flying overhead. And what about the Bahamas, where the water is only 50 feet deep? Ships have vanished there too, and they should be easy to find. Yet they're gone, vanished, without a trace. Even in controlled methane incidents, like when drilling rigs have accidentally tapped into methane layers, they sink slowly, giving crews time to escape and send distress calls. And notably, no aircraft hovering above was ever harmed. So why do planes go missing here? Then there's the Gulf Stream, a powerful current that might be swallowing up evidence before it can surface. And the ocean floor itself? Far from normal. it plunges suddenly into some of the deepest trenches on Earth. A perfect graveyard for any wreckage to disappear into oblivion. Some also point to bizarre electronic malfunctions, instruments spinning wildly, planes going off course. There's a theory that in this area, compasses point to true north instead of magnetic north. But seasoned sailors already know this and account for it. However, the Mary Celeste wasn't the only ship to be found eerily adrift with no crew in sight. Nearly a decade later, in 1881, another vessel would encounter something just as strange. And this time, it was dangerously close to the Bermuda Triangle. The Ellen Austin, a respected American ship en route from London to New York, was making her way across the Atlantic when her crew spotted something unusual. Drifting silently north of the Sargasso Sea was an unidentified schooner, completely intact, but completely abandoned. At first, Captain Baker was suspicious. Was it a trap? A lure by pirates? He decided to observe the ghostly vessel from a distance for 2 full days. But the ship never moved, never signaled, just floated, waiting. Captain Baker made a bold decision. He assigned a group from his own crew to man the mysterious ship and tow it back to New York alongside the Ellen Austin. For a time, both ships sailed together under calm skies. But then, the sea turned. A sudden squall rolled in, brief but powerful, and when the weather cleared, the ghost ship was gone. Then, days later, a lookout from the Ellen Austin spotted something on the horizon. It was the schooner. Drifting once again, just like before. Silent, aimless. The Ellen Austin gave chase, finally catching up after hours. But when they boarded the vessel a second time, they found it empty once more. To this day, the Ellen Austin incident remains one of the most haunting tales tied to the Bermuda Triangle. One theory scientists have is that the Ellen Austin passed into the Sargasso Sea, a sea unlike any other. It has no shores, no coastal borders. Instead, it's eerily bound by ocean currents, forming a swirling aquatic prison adrift in the Atlantic. This sea is a mysterious belt of dead calm, where the wind disappears, the sea lies still, and the skies bake with relentless sun. These eerie stretches became known as the horse latitudes. The story goes back to the 16th and 17th centuries. Spanish ships, heavy with cargo, including live horses being transported to the New World, would often get trapped in this windless purgatory. With the sails slack and the ship stranded for days or even weeks, food and water began to run dangerously low. In desperation, crews were sometimes forced to throw their horses overboard, sacrificing them to save resources and lives. Here, thick mats of seaweed, the same sargassum that traps ships in silence, seem to form floating graveyards for both vessels and the forgotten. Even in modern times, pilots and sailors have reported strange compass behavior, bizarre electromagnetic interference, and even a sense of disorientation or dread when passing through the Sargasso Sea. But the mysteries of the sea aren't limited to ships alone. On December 5, 1945, Flight 19, 5 Navy bombers on a routine training mission, disappeared off the Florida coast. Radio messages revealed confusion. Cannot see land. We can't find west. Everything looks strange, even the ocean. Then, silence. The rescue plane sent after them vanished too. 6 planes, 27 men, gone. It was as if Flight 19 had flown into another dimension, swallowed by something invisible, silent, and merciless. Was it a navigational error? A sudden storm? Equipment malfunction? Or something far stranger? Some say it was electronic fog, It is a mysterious phenomenon believed to occur when overlapping electromagnetic fields create a dense, grayish mist. This fog can suddenly materialize out of nowhere, attach itself to an aircraft or ship, and travel along with it, disrupting or completely disabling all electronic instruments along the way. And then there are smaller, lesser-known cases. Fishing boats found floating without their crews. Private planes that never reach their destination. Vessels that radio in perfect condition one moment, only to disappear the next. However, not everyone believes the Bermuda Triangle is as mysterious as it seems. In fact, the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration stated that there's no solid evidence suggesting disappearances happen here more often than in any other busy stretch of ocean. It has been said that the Bermuda Triangle is simply a high-traffic zone, full of ships and planes constantly moving through an area known for unpredictable weather and complex navigation. So, is it just myths and misunderstandings? Maybe. But the ocean is vast and still largely unexplored. And just because science can explain some of the mystery doesn't mean it's explained all of it. Whatever the cause, one truth remains. Things vanish in the Bermuda Triangle. And sometimes they never come back.